Well, good evening, racing fans. Welcome to racing action from Grand River Raceway for this Monday evening. Our first race will go to post in approximately 20 minutes. We should have a smooth night this evening, not bumpy like we are seeing.
Like my camera?
I think the wind is having a wee bit of effect on the camera. But note, we'll get right to the changes because we want to move things along. And the track conditions going to be listed as fast temperature recorded as 17 degrees Celsius. No changes, races 1 through 6. Race number 7, number 4, St. Lad's Flirt. Jason Ryan is the driver. Race 7, number 4, St. Lad's Flirt. Jason Ryan, the driver. Race number 8, number 2, Penny's Noir. Missing chart line, finished 4th, beaten 3 3/4 in 1:58 was the time of the mile. Note that number 5, Streaky Yokoko, the driver will be Brett McDonald. Brett McDonald will drive 5, Streaky Yokoko. And at number 6, Clothes Optional is going to be scratched from stripped from race number 8.
There you go. Ah!
And race number 9, number 4, Arrakis. Jason Ryan is going to drive. Jason Ryan will drive for Arrakis in race number 9, the final dash. Once again, reviewing races 1 and 2. Well, we'll go all the way through to race number 6 because there are no changes in any of the first 6 dashes. And it is time to welcome in our handicapping expert for the evening, and of course, all season long, providing all kinds of great information. You know, Rob, I do chirp you now and then, or at least probably even more than now and then, but I think overall, you've done one heck of a fine job this year. The fans love hearing your opinion, and you also do all of the work and the studying and watching all those races, and we really appreciate it. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic, Gary. Look at that. You're buttering me up tonight. I'm just waiting for something, the sledgehammer to come at some point.
No, I'm not. You know what? I got to cut back on that because, I really do appreciate all the great work you do. And you really do put a lot of time into it, and I think it's great.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Gary. Listen, it's been always a pleasure, analyzing the races here at the river and, of course, working alongside you and this amazing broadcast team. I love it. I mean, I've been a fan and customer of the river long before I worked here. Been going there for countless years, since probably before I was actually supposed to be wagering at a racetrack, but we won't talk about that. But you know what, folks? It's a great night of racing here on a magnificent Monday at Grand River Raceway. And the one thing I wanted to kind of talk about tonight is the drivers' battle that we've got going on here, and trainers' battle for that matter. Every single meet here at the river, it's a competitive battle between our teamsters here. And this year's no exception. We got Brett McDonald and Tyler Borth battling out at the top of the standings, the driver's side. And Brett McDonald did get a win, I think, on the 16th. So that puts him 2 ahead of Tyler Borth. That's going to come right down to the wire with Brett at 38 and Tyler now at 36. And the trainer side, just as close. Jody Cullen leads the way at 14. Don Lindsay and Richard Moreau, though, right behind, both getting wins toward the latter part of last week. Just 1 win away. So very tight battle. It's crazy that we've already come to near the end of the season here at the river. It seems like just yesterday it was opening day, but we're getting closer and closer to that final day of racing on the Monday the 26th, is it? Monday the 26th. There it is. Monday the 26th. So should be some more great battles between drivers and trainers on the racetrack. Tonight, though, we've got 9 races on the card. For you know what that means. Swing race will be race number 6. The early pick 4 ends there. The late pick 4 starts there, and the super high 5 resides there. In that race tonight, we will have a hefty favorite from the rail. I think that one might be a single, but I'm also going to use another one in there, but we'll talk about that a little later on. Race 2 tonight, a real nice pace, preferred pace, 6-horse field, but packs a very powerful punch. The finale tonight, that preferred trot, which is always competitive, and those horses that have been racing well in it now get sent to the outside of the gate, so anything can happen. Overall, fantastic card to work with. Some great wagering options, but we'll come back to a closer look at that pick 5 wager in just a few moments.
The Ontario Select Yearling Sale returns in 2022. The sale will be held September 25th at Winback Farm of Canada in Inglewood, Ontario. The sale lineup features first crop yearlings from Jimmy Freight, McWicked, and Stag Party. Introducing the first North American yearlings from the bank. For more information, visit OntarioSelectYearlingSale.com.
8 minutes away till the opener here at Grand River Raceway on a magnificent Monday. And you know what time it is, folks. Time to take a closer look at the Pick 5 Guaranteed Pool, $2,500. Gary and I always map out suggested tickets for you. Let's hope one of us can cash a ticket tonight. It's been a bit of a cold streak, but I don't know. I've got a good feeling about tonight. I like the Pick 5, and I really love that late Pick 4 wager. But let's take a look now at the one that gets started right here in the opener. Pick 5, guaranteed $2,500. Look at that beautiful shot of the Allura sky, brought to you by the broadcasting team here at Grand River Raceway. In the opening race, 2-year-olds can sometimes be unpredictable, and I thought this is actually a very competitive-looking race. And the odds board might not tell you that right now, but I think it's a little more competitive than it looks. I'm going to go 3 deep. I'll be honest. I didn't want to spend too much. I thought about even going beyond that. I'm just going to go with the 1, 2, and 5, the 1 Prince Shadow, the 2 St. Lad's Mischief, and the 5 4-foot Gimme. But I do think this race might be tougher than it looks. So hopefully we're not on the sidelines after race number 1 again. In race number 2, 3 deep as well. Going to go with Let's Get Pickled on top, the 3. Big-time winner last time in a top condition class here. Now moves up to the preferred, but that win was so good. He gets a post edge on the other 2, Don't Poke the Dragon, and Clever Character. And I think that he fits with those ones. I don't think he's overmatched. So if he can get to the front, or sit the 2-hole, I think he can be tough. We'll go 3 deep there with the 3, 5, and 6. Obviously, Don't Poke the Dragon, Clever Character, both coming from the Cullen Barn, are strong options as well. Race number 3, numbers of 5,000 on the trot. These can sometimes be unpredictable because we have horses that make breaks in stride. Miss Tori was an easy winner last time. I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel here. I'm going to single her, coming right back to win again. It looks like she should get the lead again. I think she'll be difficult to beat. But again, she's one that's made a break before in the past. So, you got to tread carefully in these trotting races for inexperienced horses. But Miss Tori will be my single, number 3, in race number 3. Race number 4, just 2 deep with the 2, Duchess of Brant, and the 4, Curious Bubbles. Curious Bubbles, a big-time winner last time at Hanover. Duchess of Brant, though, is competing against Tougher over at that half-mile oval. So I think that you want to use that one with the inside draw, 2 deep there, maybe get better value on Duchess of Brant as well. Race number 5, the money leg. Another good-looking competitive race tonight. Now winners of $4,250, last 3. And I'm going to go with the 3, 4, and 5. It's DM John Wick, who's been racing so well from off the pace. Dragon Energy coming back to the river, was racing the preferred ranks last time he was here. And Ideal Jet, who might be brave now after that victory in the class below this last time. So I'm going to go to the middle of the gates with those ones, but I do recognize that's a pretty competitive-looking field as well. So this pick 5 should pay well as long as we don't run out favorites, which I think is going to be pretty difficult to see happen tonight. But let's see what Gary Guy has in store for us.
Well, right away in that first race, we don't even need to talk about it. We see the race pretty much exactly the same way, so we'll just move right on and get to the second race. And, well, I do have Don't Poke the Dragon on top. I'm going to use 2 horses instead of the 3 that you used, and I have to leave one out, and it's not that I don't like the horse, so I have the 3 and the 5 in there, and leaving out Clever Character, that might get me. In the third race, well, Maiden Trot, I didn't want to have just one horse, so I have 3. I have the 1, 3, and I'm going to throw in the 8 Woodshed just in case some things go amiss, and Woodshed could get out okay. Is one that closed well to finish second last time out and is sent up at Dave Holiday. In the fourth race, I'm going to go a single. At least it's fillies and mares on the pace. I didn't want to have the single in the trot, but I'll go with the single Curious Bubbles. And that's your second choice, as you have Duchess of Brant as your top one, but I took your second choice and went alone there. And in the fifth race, I have the 1, 2, and 4. I have the top 3 in there as my horses in that race. So we see that race a bit differently, but it's a very tough race to handicap. You could look at that race a lot of different ways. So I do understand what you're winding up with. I have the 1, 2, and 4. And the same price, $10.80.
So very similar structure tickets for myself and Gary. It's interesting because we are singling in different races. We're on the same wavelength, though, until race number 5. And race 5, we kind of go in opposite directions. Gary's, of course, we're going to share Dragon Energy, but he's using 2 other ones there. So just 6 chances for us both to taste victory tonight in that pick 5 wager. I'm, of course, cheering for that, but might be a little bit difficult. We need the right things to happen in the right places. But you've got 3 minutes away to map out your winning wagers for this Pick 5 wager. Again, the pool is guaranteed at $2,500. And we'll come back, take a closer look at the happening dash after the post parade.
The field for race number 1 is on parade. One Prince Shadow, Brent Madonna for pole, Cameron and Jody Jamison and Jamie Cameron. Number 2, St. Lad's Mischief, Jason Ride for John Kennedy and Allison Kennedy. And number 3 is Arts Fire, Talmore for Meg Crone and Fred Brayford. And 4 is Extra Cheese, Jay Harris for Jason Libby and Douglas Dunbar and Brad Dunbar. Number 5 is 4 Foot Gimme, Scott Quiller for Sean Stacy and Diane Bertrand. And number 6, Magnetar Sealster, Tyler Borth for Frank Baker Jr. It's a field of 6 for race number 1. Let's get a look at this field, and well, we're going to move right down to the inside. 8 to 5 the board. One Prince Shadow, and got got off the gate really well last time out. Didn't quite finish it out, but still, that's a good race to build off of, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good one to build off of. I was hoping he'd be better in that effort. I had him on top. I think I even had him singled in my pick 5 on that occasion, but he went to the lead, got a reasonable middle half right of a minute, and then in the end couldn't contend with the first over challenger. It is what it is. Molly went on to win pretty comfortably, and that ended up kind of being a key qualifier that she was coming out of. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe she was just that good. It wasn't the case that Prince Shadow should have been better, and he gets the rail to work from today. We know he's got early speed. and he should only continue to get better for trainer Paul Cameron as he puts more starts under his belt for that outfit.
Number 5 of 4 Foot Gimme is getting right now the favorite status and probably will at least be somewhere around, I think probably the second choice, but if not, then a lukewarm favorite. But 4 Foot Gimme, that was a decent effort here last time out, finished right behind Prince Shadow.
Yeah, we both kind of commented afterwards that kind of got caught behind that one. The only problem with our theory on that was that never got past, right? Tried to go up the passing lane, and you didn't get near the winner, obviously, and couldn't even get past Prince Shadow, who had led throughout and, gave him a nice pocket tripping behind. So when I look at this race today, I said, well, 4 Foot Gimmy's got to work from post 5, Prince Shadow from the rail. Really, the big edge has to go in the direction of the aforementioned one, and at 2-1 right now, that's the value. I saw this race playing out much. I think you thought, Gary. Prince Shadow would be the favorite, and then probably you'd have 4 Foot Gimme as the second choice, just because of the fact that they were second and third in this class last week. So, again, not playing out that way right now, but might end up being like that at post time.
And then I wasn't even sure if he'd be the second choice because number 2, St. Lad's Mischief, some people will just look at 3 wins in 4 starts and be drawn to that, and, well, understandably so, because also it's John Kennedy.
Yeah, we probably should be, right? We should be giving this horse respect, because the one thing that, when I first started handicapping many, many moons ago was people would say, well, it's hard to go against horses that are winners, right? I mean, and St. Lad's Mischief's been racing, at Hanover, back-to-back wins in both of his last 2. Before that, one at Clinton, and even the only defeat in his career was a second-place finish in the first start of his life. So you can't really knock St. Lad's Mischief for anything that he's done so far, and you're getting 5-1 at a horse that's already tasted victory 3 times.
And you also get the top driving and top driver and trainer at Hanover. Yeah, Jason Ryan's been on a nice roll here as well of late, and John Kennedy, a barn that I've liked for quite a while now. And how about number 4, Extra Cheese? Can we get some extra cheese in here?
I think that for a piece of it, maybe. I think winning it might be a bit of a stretch, and that's why you're seeing 9-1 right now. This horse is loaded with early speed. We've seen that here at Grand River from him. He went to the front and then sat a trip 3 starts back. I just don't know if he's got what it takes late in the mile right now to maybe fend these off, and maybe he sits a trip tonight. Maybe he doesn't go to the lead because he's tried those tactics multiple times so far. He's 1 for 7, so he is one of the previous winners in the race. I just think that he's more likely, better suited in the bottom end of the trifecta as Super.
I want to ask you about number 6, Magnetar Sealster, because 2 qualifiers, first-time starter, but one that shows some flashes, especially good final quarters in those qualifiers.
Yeah, it was post 6 for me, Gary. I'll be honest. I tried to get there on this first-time starter. $13,000 yearling purchase. I thought last qualifier was a good one, and at Mohawk Park and against a horse that would probably handle this group. The problem is outermost post, first start of his career, but we saw last week you might want to jump on the bandwagon early on those ones because the value might shrivel up if they go out and race really well. I left him out tonight. Hopefully I won't regret it.
Well, one thing the value didn't completely shrivel up on one Prince Shadow is the second choice at 9-5 is number 5, 4 Foot Gimme has stayed with that favored status ever so slightly, 8-5 on the board. Taking up their positions, Prince Shadow, St. Lad's Mischief on the inside. In the center, Arts Fire, Extra Cheese into the outside, 4 Foot Gimme, Magnetar Sealster, field of 6. Race number 1. It's a field of 6 for the first dash on a Monday night at the river. And the field for race 1 at the start of the rough, Extra Cheese and St. Lad's Mischief, 4 Foot Gimme. Prince Shadow along to the inside is racing on the pylons right now 4th. And then it is Arts Fire. Magnetar Sealster, 4 Foot Gimme is going to come on and clear to the front, and St. Lad's Mischief, well, made a break in stride. 4 Foot Gimme has got the lead right now and is in front by 2.5. Extra Cheese is second, Prince Shadow third. And Arts Fire is racing 4th, and then Magnetar Sealster. 4 Foot Gimme has the front right now and is going to go past that opening quarter in 28 seconds with a lead of about 3 1/4. Extra Cheese is racing second, and then it is Prince's Shadow, who's third. Arts Fire is racing fourth, and that Magnetar Sealster off the turn they come. Prince Shadow, as they come on towards this 4-foot gimme, has got the lead. 4-foot gimme. Extra Cheese is second. Prince Shadow on the inside third. 4-foot gimme still leads by 4, past the half in 57-3. Extra Cheese, Prince Shadow, and then racing position to fourth is Arts Fire, and then Magnetar Sealster. 4-foot gimme has got the lead as they race on down the back stretch, and that lead is stretched out, and Extra Cheese is second. Prince Shadow getting a bit of urging but not making any move and is well back, and now Magnetar Sealster is kicking in but has a lot of work to do. 4-foot gimme. Extra Cheese now is closing. Extra Cheese is now about 2 1/4 off the lead. 3/4, 1:26-3. Magnetar Sealster third. Prince Shadow fourth. It is 4-foot gimme. Extra Cheese is racing second as they turn for home. 4-foot gimme on down the stretch. Broad they come. 4-foot gimme and Scotty Calder looking to close this one out. Still has a length and a quarter on the outside. Extra Cheese. Extra Cheese comes on by and not only got a slice of the trifecta, got the whole pie. Then finishing second was 4-foot gimme. Mile of 1:57-1. Extra Cheese is victorious, and well, we got Kramered out of the pick 5.
Yeah, we are. We're out. I'm out. That's another rough start for us. These pick 5s. It's like the impossible wager for us this season, Gary. It's been so strange. It feels like it's been months since we've cashed one. And Extra Cheese, a horse that's gotten weak late in his miles. He's weakened and got leg weary late. This time around, sits a nice trip and then reels in 4-foot gimme before the wire. I honestly didn't think he'd get there. I thought, well, he's going to finish second tonight, but he paces by nicely right in the deep stretch and gets up at a big price. This is a good knockout to start off the card.
Well, we did get some pick 5s early the year, but it's run pretty dry in the second half of the year. It's been a different story on the pick 5. But Extra Cheese was full marks. You could start to see it coming, and certainly that was a solid effort by 4-foot gimme. In the post position, advantage over Prince Shadow that we were counting on went away as 4-foot gimme fired early.
Yeah, he did. 4-foot gimme went right to the lead, and when he had that big lead in the early going, I knew Prince Shadow, getting away third, first over is not going to really work out for that one. Just really having to beat the horse in the pocket at that point, and it was a loose pocket for much of the mile. I just couldn't do it, and it was kind of what I alluded to when I was breaking down the pick 5 sequence. This race kind of looked sneaky tough, like going 3 deep. You think you feel good about it, but it looked like a race where maybe anybody could win with the right trip, and that's what happened with Extra Cheese today. Extra Cheese, horse I picked for fourth. Didn't use in the pick 5. Should have, though, because I love Extra Cheese on everything.
Well, and we both used this one for fourth and went 3 deep. So smart, we were not. We were Kramered out of the pick 5 in race number 1. Back in front of us, number 4 Extra Cheese, a 2-year-old better than Cheddar Bay gelding, owned by Douglas Dunbar and Brad Dunbar and Jason Libby. Jay Harris is the winning driver. Jason Libby, the trainer. Second win, Extra Cheese. 1:57-1 in race number 1. The first race payouts number 4 Extra Cheese, $16.90, $5.60, $6.50, 4-foot gimme, $5.50 and $5.20, and 1 Prince Shadow, $3.70, $2 exactor is $67, dollar try $60.60, dollar superfected $205.50. The first race over a finish from the top, 365124. That's 365124. field for race number 2 is On Parade. 1 is Night Watchman, Nick Boyd for Craig Bars and Nurko Sokolovic. Number 2 is Bolt Power, Braden Rabling for Brenda Darrable and William Brown. Number 3 is Let's Get Pickled, Colin Kelly for Dwayne Marfisi and John Stamatis. Number 4, Bettheim again, Tyler Moore for Robert Fellows and Jeffrey Lilly. Number 5 is Don't Poke the Dragon, Travis Cullen for Jody Cullen and Paul Sanders. And number 6, Clever Character, Ron DeRoche for Jody Cullen and A1 Stable and Paul Sanders. It's a field of 6 for race number 2. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, the fans are enamored with Let's Get Pickled right now. 3-2 on the board kind of surprises me. That is your top choice and my second one. The price lower than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's a lot lower right now, Gary. But when I'm using horses like this, I'm hoping they're a bigger price than the multi-leg wagers. Unfortunately, we're already dead in that pick 5. But I think Let's Get Pickled will likely float up a little bit in price. But I did think he deserved a lot of respect in here because he draws inside of the outside 2 Cullen trainees, and I think that he's got a speed edge off them on the gate. Was so good last time in that top condition. I mean, he was under a real strong hold to the wire, 53-4. And I think if he gets to the lead again, he might swell up and he might just keep on trucking. So 2-1 the price right now. Hoping it goes up a little more. I was hoping for about 5-2 or 3-1, but we'll see how this shakes out on the odds board.
You know, sometimes as a handicapper, the battle is, do you look at the bigger picture of what each horse is overall, or do you look at their last start? Because if you're looking just at the last start, then you have to land here.
Yeah, there's no question about it. If you're going, especially the fact that, you even look at the date, right? I mean, September the 12th, and then you got on the outside of the gate, Don't Poke the Dragon, August 19th, August 31st. So who's the tighter horse out of those ones? And, who just went out there and produced a winning effort? So you're exactly right. I mean, looking at recency, you'd have to go with Let's Get Pickled. That's not to say, though, the outside 2 don't have a big chance.
Now, I was surprised you went with 6 Clever Character next, and it's not that Clever Character isn't good. It's just that the outside post, but also Travis would have had, obviously, or at least most likely, his choice of the 2 that sent up a Jody Cullen, and he went with the 5.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you would certainly think that he would get first call. I mean, he does. And then Clever Character for me, though, I just thought was racing really well. He's won 3 of his last 4. Granted, Don't Poke the Dragons won 2 of his last 3. Yeah, they're closer in proximity for date by a couple of days. To me, it just came down to who I thought might be the bigger price. Even though the morning line was 6-5 versus 9-5, I look at those 2 and think there's very slim margin between them. So I'd rather lean in the direction of the bigger price. And right now it is shaking out that way with 5-2 on Clever Character and Don't Poke the Dragon at 2-1. So, I mean, to me, though, they're likely interchangeable.
Yeah, one place where they do separate, they're both 5-year-olds in career money. Clever Character getting close to the $500,000 mark. Now, Don't Poke the Dragon is certainly one that has a big chance to win in here. That's my top choice, and you gotta love those 2 starts at Georgian Downs. I especially love the 51-3 mile.
Yeah, he was huge in both of them. He was bet down to odds on in both those races. Now, it's not winners of 60,000 life. So, I mean, he has an edge over the horses in there. There's no question about it. And now he's back into the preferred ranks, right? So it's obviously he's facing tougher. Now, in between that, took on non-winners of 3,000 last 5 at Mohawk Park, and he got a very difficult trip. There's no question about it. First over through fractions of 54-4 to the half, 123 and 1 3/4. The question is, how does he rebound from that effort, right? So that's why I didn't want to take a short price on him, and I did think he would likely be the favorite in the race. It's not playing out that way right now. Let's Get Pickled at 3-2, but 9-5 is probably a shade or 2 higher than I thought the price will close at.
We both wound up with the same top 3, and the tote board is in alignment with us. The next one you went to was, well, the inside post, gate speed on a half-mile track.
Yeah, what's Night Watchman really done wrong? I mean, in his latest, he went straight to the lead and won by a wide margin of 55-2 over a track that was a second off. Now, he's moving up to the preferred ranks, but he gets to work from the rail, and he's a horse that's loaded with early foot. So he's going to get away well. I think the game plan's got to be to stay put in the pylons and see what he can get in the stretch. And I don't think he should really be worse than fourth in here, as long as that's the way that the race plays out. 12 to 1 on the board, another horse that leaves from the pole position with early speed that's going off at double digits. I wouldn't be surprised if he even out races that projection and finishes better than fourth.
I went to 4 bet him again off that 51 mile last time out. Now, eighth beaten 4.5, but still the speed matters, I think, a bit. And this will be the second start since coming in from the Maritimes.
Yeah, and I just kind of struggle with horses that make that trip out there for the Gold Cup and Saucer, and then when they come back, they usually take a little bit of time, right? It's a long shipping journey, right? And a lot of times horses need starts. Now, having said that, a pair of them that made that trip out there finished 1-2 at Mohawk Park on Saturday night. So I might be off on that standpoint, but usually that's an angle I go with. That's why I left Benham again off the ticket tonight.
Well, it is a field of 6 taking up their positions, and it's on the inside. Night Watchman, Bold Power. In the center, Let's Get Pickled and Venom again. And to the outside, Don't Poke the Dragon and Clever Character. It is a field of 6 for race number 2. And the field for race number 2 is into the stretch drive, gathering speed, approaching the start. There at the start of the rough. Let's Get Pickled. Night Watchman on the inside. Then it is Benham again who's racing third. Then racing position fourth. Don't Poke the Dragon. Bold Power. Clever Character. Let's Get Pickled now is going to drive up and clear to the front. Then Night Watchman watches from second at 18 to 1 in behind the even money Let's Get Pickled. Benham again is racing third. Don't Poke the Dragon racing fourth in front of Bolt Power and Clever Character. Let's Get Pickled 27-2 the opening quarter, and racing second Night Watchman in a good spot, and Let's Get Pickled is got that lead as they come on off the turn. Benham again's racing third. Don't Poke the Dragon fourth, and then Bolt Power and Clever Character, and it is Let's Get Pickled who's got a lead of about 2 1/4 over Night Watchman. Benham again is on the inside third. Don't Poke the Dragon fourth, and the halftime was 56-2 at 29 seconds, second panel. It is Let's Get Pickled, traveling unencumbered on the lead. Night Watchman is second. Benham again is racing on the outside first over. Don't Poke the Dragon now, racing fourth, and is angled towards the outside, then back to Bolt Power and Clever Character. Let's Get Pickled. Benham again has come on to take over second, and Don't Poke the Dragon now is starting to poke around and grab the third spot, and then Night Watchman is fourth, and then Bolt Power and Clever Character. Now it is Let's Get Pickled. Out wide comes Don't Poke the Dragon. 3/4, 124-3. Let's Get Pickled as they turn for home. Don't Poke the Dragon. Benham again on down the stretch where they come. Let's Get Pickled and Don't Poke the Dragon. Don't Poke the Dragon is going to roll on by and win. Let's Get Pickled second. Then it was Benham again and Bolt Power 153-2. Don't Poke the Dragon looked kind of unhurried in the early going, but certainly had some nice urgency in the stretch, Rob.
Yeah, he was certainly unhurried in the early stages, but it didn't matter. He was much the best. You can see the body language of Travis Cullen here. He's just doing it all on his own there. He's got a nice hold of him to the wire and big mile time too, 53-2. And Let's Get Pickled, I mean, did everything that he had to do to really get the victory. Went to the front and kind of held a clear margin for much of that mile. A bit of a challenge from Benham again, but not really. And was no match for Don't Poke the Dragon in the stretch. I thought Don't Poke the Dragon would be the favorite, Gary. It was not. 2-1 versus even money on Let's Get Pickled. All the money flowed in that direction tonight.
Yeah, Let's Get Pickled is one that got the money, but Don't Poke the Dragon got the job done. And actually, Benham again did race well to finish third. It was a solid effort.
Yeah, he did race well, and usually, like I said, I stick to that angle over the years that when horses come back from the Gold Cup and Saucer, I'll usually fade them for at least their first few starts. But Legion, Steelstring, Cadillac, Biema both raced really well. Saturday night at Mohawk Park, they both made the same trek, and Benham again was a decent first over third tonight. So I think maybe we can move away from that angle going forward.
And the angle might need an amendment. Well back in front of us. Number 5, Don't Poke the Dragon. 5-year-old Custard, the Dragon Bay Gelding, owned by JJJ Stables. Jody Collins, the trainer. Paul Sanders also shares in ownership the winning drive to Travis Collin. 5th win this year, 22nd lifetime, 150, 3-2. The second race payout, 5, Don't Poke the Dragon, 630, 280, 250. 3, Let's Get Pickled, 240, 220. 4, Benham again, 350. $2 exactor, $12.70. Try, $17.95. Super, $38.20. And note the $2 double of 4 and 5, $40.60. The second race over a finish from the top. 642315. That's 642315.
Pick four time. Let's do it. Don't Poke the Dragon surprisingly offering 2-1 in that preferred pace in race number 2. A lot of people flocked to Let's Get Pickled. I was one of them. Went down to even money. Wasn't too impressed with that price, but Don't Poke the Dragon, a much the best winner. Hopefully you're still alive in that pick 5 wager. But now it's time to take a look at the early pick 4 guaranteed pool. $2,500 gets started right here in race number 3. A interesting looking trotting event for non-winners of 5,000 life. And Miss Tori, to me, is pretty hard to go against because post 5 last time at this level had an equipment change on that occasion, went to the front and won with ease. Early quarter was 29-2, which I think, if she goes out and shows that again tonight, she'll be difficult to catch in here, but not the favorite right now. Alexa Play Country is the favorite, who was third last time at 78-1. I think that's going to certainly shift back in Miss Tori's direction come post time. Going to single up on the 3, Miss Tori, here in race number 3. Race number 4, we're going to go 3 deep. With the 2, Duchess of Brand is my top selection. Should be a bit of a price. The 4, Curious Bubbles, coming off a nice win. And going to add the 5, Stonebridge Theme on that ticket in race number 4. In race number 5, 4 deep. In a very contentious looking race to 7-horse field, I think that any one of the 7 could win, or at least you can make a case for everyone in that race. We're going to go with the 3, 4, 5, and 6 DM. John Wick is my top selection in the race. And then race number 7, 2 deep. I do think the 1, J120, is a logical single if you don't mind taking a real short price from the rail. However, the 7, Sweetest Hustle, raced fantastic last time to be second, got locked in, loaded with pace late. If she can get into the race from post 7, you want to have her on the ticket. Just $4.80 for yours truly. Let's see what Gary Guy has in store for us tonight.
Well, I'll tell you who I've got. I've got the Buffalo Bills. That's who I've got. Now, listen, it's about 3 minutes to post time to our third dash, and it is pick 4 time, so let's do it. But also, it's about 3 minutes to post time in Buffalo, so listen, just a favor to ask, buddy. I hope you're on your A game tonight, because you might have to carry the rest of the show.
Oh, wow, because you're that much involved in the Bills game, but you're a good multitasker. I've heard you give us Blue Jays updates, inning by inning, even hit by hit during race calls. So I'm sure you can pull it off tonight. And I mean, shouldn't that just be a total trounce fest tonight for the Bills against the lowly Tennessee Titans?
No, I'm feeling nervous about it. Look, Tennessee beat Buffalo the last two times they played them. They're not as good now, but still, sometimes you just recent memory. It's like when you've bet a horse and he didn't live up to the billing. You're still kind of worried, even though maybe that horse has improved since. I'm not confident. Hate to say it.
All right. Well, I think they're going to be okay tonight. And I mean, my fantasy football hopes hinge on a good performance from Gabe Davis, and of course Josh Allen having a big game at quarterback. So I'm thinking it's going to be a real exciting game.
One more thing to throw in, then, by the way, just to ruin it for you: Gabe Davis is out.
He's out tonight.
Not
that's
playing.
Not good for me. I better update my lineups.
Yeah, update. You got to multitask, buddy. We're about 1 minute to post time.
That was great.
Field 4, race number 3. On parade 1, the Great Reset, Lauren House, drives and trains and owns. And number 2, Nigel Springwell, Preston Shaw for Joe Shaw, Patricia Gibb. And number 3 is Miss Tori, Bruce Richardson for Paul Meegans in Saltwater Stable. And number 4, Plans Change, Tom Smith for Jane Walker. Number 6, Tony Cash, Pat Hudon for AJ Cash's Sales. Number 7 is Coltrane DeVee, Rennie Dion for SNR Racing. There is 8, Woodshed, Jason Ryan for Dave Holiday and Graham Jackson. And note that number 5 is Alexa Play Country, Ron Waples Jr. for James. Ron Waples for Ron Waples Jr. and James Fullerton. It's a field of 8. Race number 3 starts the pick 4. Let's do this. And, well, first up, we're going to start with number 3, Miss Tori. Well, Miss Tori certainly is one that wasn't conservative last time out, went to the front, and just kept on going.
She did. She crushed. By the way, I picked up Isaiah McKenzie as a fill-in tonight for Gabe Davis. So let's hope Isaiah's got a big game.
Should get more action.
Absolutely. But Miss Tori, I think she should take more action on the odds board, because I was shocked that she didn't open as the favorite, and she stayed above even money to this point, and now just went up another tick to 3-2, which is surprising for me because she was so dominant last time. And the rest of this field really hasn't shown any kind of consistency as of yet, both with their performances and staying flat. So Miss Tori, for me, the blinkers went on last time. They stay on tonight. I think she's going to try to go to the front right off the wings of the gate. She draws well with post 3, and she's the one to catch in here. She looks sharp on the track as well.
And I'll tell you also what surprised me is you went to number 8, Woodshed, next. Now listen, Woodshed has raced well, but I know your aversion to post 8, and yet you went in the second spot with Woodshed.
Yeah, we typically do not like going to post 7 or 8. We've done it a few times this year, Gary, and it's worked out. Other times it certainly hasn't. But Woodshed, an improving type, right? I mean, 0 wins through 12 starts so far in his career, but he's got 4 on the board finishes, and 2 of them have come in his last 2. I liked the effort last time. I was hoping coming out of that race that he would draw a good post, and maybe I would have went in his direction as one on top, maybe at a single in the multi-leg wagers. But it gets worse with post 8. I think you've got to respect his chances. I think he's going to have to come from, just off the pace, maybe even further out of it this time around for post 8. but 8-1 on the board is not the worst price, especially we always talk about outside posts in these trotting type races. If horses make miscues off the gate, it makes it infinitely easier for a horse on the outside of the gate to get away well. So maybe that happens. I like them in the play spot, and I wouldn't really fault anyone for taking a shot at 8-1. You get down to the 4-1 price, then I'd say that's probably too short.
The one that I went with is 7-2. Won the Great Reset. I thought could be value because I thought Miss Tory would be heavily backed, and the Great Reset on the inside. I like after that 34-second opening quarter, the rest of the mile was good last time out.
The rest of the mile was great. It really was, and was a wide mark back in the early going, and kept tightening up as the race went on. I think, for me as a handicapper, my natural inclination is to typically rank horses lower if they're facing older, and this is a 2-year-old gelding taking on older horses tonight. Just his fourth start of his career, second start back off a layoff. He has a license to improve. He also works from the pole position, which is great in so many situations here, something I don't like as much for a young trotter. So I use them underneath tonight. One that I have kind of circled to keep a close eye on for next time, but I couldn't get there in a win position because of those reasons.
And the one you used for fourth is the one that finished fourth in the last two starts for Tom Smith.
Yeah, Plans Change for me is one that I think you have to use in the bottom end of the exotics. That has finished fourth in both of his last two, has picked up a share in each of his last three. The thing I like most about her is the fact that she doesn't make miscues, right? And in a race that we might see multiple horses jump it off, she doesn't do that. So I think that if you're playing tries and supers, you have to use her somewhere on the ticket for that reason and that reason alone. I think she can get away off the gate reasonably well, sit a trip, and land somewhere on it. 18-1's probably about the price she should be.
And the one that I used on the bottom is 5 Alexa Play Country. It closed better last time out.
Much better effort last time. No question about it. I did, my comments were much better effort. She was overland much of the journey, but 78-1 last time, 17-1 this time. I'll just watch and see if she continues to step forward.
Well, it is a field of 8 for race number 3, and the field is taking their position behind the gate as we're at the first play of the football game on Monday Night Football as well. We are in sync on this Monday night, and it's the Great Reset. Nigel Springwell and Miss Tory on the inside of the center. Plans Change. Alexa Play Country to the outside. Tony Cash and Coltrane DeVee and Woodshed. It's a field of 8 for the third. And there at the start of the round, Nigel Springwell, Miss Tory, then Tony Cash, and then it is back to Alexa Play Country, and Plans Change as the field works their way around that first turn. And now Miss Tory is coming on, and Miss Tory not being used conservative early in the going of things as they race to the opening quarter. Tony Cash broke stride. Miss Tory at 6-5 has got the lead. Nigel Springwell second. Plans Change is racing third. Then Alexa Play Country. Woodshed is now fifth. The Great Reset is sixth, and seventh is Coltrane DeVee. And they work their way past the opening quarter in 29 seconds. And right now, Miss Tory and Bruce Richardson hold sway on the field. And then Nigel Springwell, Plans Change third. Now starting to march on the outside. The Great Reset is moving and is come on to take over fourth. Alexa Play Country is racing fifth, and then Coltrane DeVee and back to Woodshed. And that opening quarter was 29. They roll past that with Miss Tory on top, and it is Miss Tory halftime recorded in 1 minute and 3, a 31 3 second panel. Miss Tory. Nigel Springwell at 11-1 is still maintaining second. The Great Reset is steadily getting a little closer. Now is moved up and is dueling to take over second and grab it from Nigel Springwell. Fourth, his Plans Change. Coltrane DeVee is racing fifth and now takes a share of fourth. And then sixth is Alexa Play Country, and they march on to three quarters. Miss Tory still has the lead. The Great Reset chipping away on the outside. Nigel Springwell is still there on the inside, racing position to third. And they roll their way to the top of the stretch on three quarters, 1:30-4. Miss Tory, the Great Reset on the outside, is getting a little closer. Nigel Springwell is third, and the Alexa Play Country now is charging on the the outside and plans change on the inside. And it is Miss Tori up the inside. Nigel Springwell. Miss Tori, Nigel Springwell. Nigel Springwell pulls the upset. Miss Tori was second. The Great Reset third and close for fourth between plans change at Alexa Play Country. Nigel Springwell at 11-1. That'll spring a price onto the pick five, Rob.
For me, Nigel Springwell was one that was coming, out of races at Sarnia that should make him competitive against this group. But I just didn't think you could bet with much confidence because of the breaks in stride, and he got away well off the gate. I mean, as soon as he left the gate with authority and had the lead and then released Miss Tori, I said, "Oh, this one could be a bit of a problem." Looks like he sneaks straight up that passing lane to get the job done in the final step.
It was a little bit of a closer call than I thought, I mean, I went pretty confidently that he won it, and then I was thinking, uh-oh.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that you so emphatically called Nigel Springwell, because I thought it was pretty close on the line there, but he was accelerating, right at the wire, right in the shadow of the wire. He found his best stride and he got up to win at 11-1, and this really, after getting a nice price in the opening leg of the pick five, this now makes this pay anything, really. I mean, it should put some serious value, especially when you have a horse like Miss Tori getting beat, who I think was probably the most common single in this sequence.
Yeah, and Woodshed, we didn't get Woodshed on there, but it was a good effort by the Great Reset. And at a moment there, going to three-quarters, thought maybe we're going to get a reset with the one on top.
Yeah, I thought it was a possibility maybe on the backside. You could see him getting a little bit tired. And the thing was, off the gate, if you noticed, handled very carefully off the gate, right? Because, again, you got a 2-year-old pole position, not the great spot for them. He had a lot of work to do, then did make a nice charge first over and raced well to be third. So, I wanted to keep a close eye on him this time around for next time. I think we can bet him with confidence next time, depending on where he lands, of course, against maybe fellow 2-year-olds, even better, and getting away from that rail spot. But a good third at 7-2, and plans change. A horse that I love to hit the ticket, tries or super, does exactly that at 24-1. But it doesn't matter because Miss Tori gets beat on the business end.
Well, it's a 2-3-1-4, and Nigel Springwell springing into that to pick five and putting a big number on the board. And also here in this third race, victorious at 11-1, Nigel Springwell, 3-year-old Angus Hall Bay gelding, owned by Patricia Gibb, trained by Joe Shaw, Preston Shaw. The winning drive to a 1-4. The third race payouts to Nigel Springwell. 25, 59, 34, 33. Miss Tori, 260, 250. Won the Great Reset, 380. $2 exactor, $118.20. Dollars Try, 169.30. 20 cents. Super, 463.56. The third race, so we finish from the top, 312-458-76. That's 312-458-76. Field for the fourth race on Parade 1. Assisted. Sound the word for Louis Gregg and James Dale. Number 2 is Duchess of Brand, Terry Fritz, Rise and Trains and Arms. And number 3 is Get Backstairs, Scott Quilliver, Steve Watson at All Star Farms. Number 4, Curious Bubbles, Mark Hetzel for Miroslav and Zenko Stanek. And number 5 is Stonebridge Theme. It's Bruce Richardson for J.P. Marshallton. And number 6, Flamin' Terror, Cullen Kelleher, Kyle Bostonson, Ephraim Zook. Field of 6, race number 4. Let's get a look at this field. And Rob, your top choice, number 2, Duchess of Brand, took a bunch of money early, but now has gone back to 13-1. Your top one, though.
Yeah, I like Duchess of Brand here, Gary. I think this race is another one of those ones tonight where the margin between the best horse in the race to the worst horse in the race isn't as much as the odds board would indicate. So Duchess of Brand for me, first of all, coming out of tougher races than Curious Bubbles. Curious Bubbles was a winner last time. But Duchess of Brand's been racing in tougher spots at Hanover, and I thought been racing reasonably well. A couple of thirds in her last 4. She's hit the board in 6 of 12. She gets a post edge over that rival, and I thought quite a few of her efforts were pretty good, all things considered. She's gone overland journeys. She's kind of gone every different triple horse can go, and she hasn't found the winner's circle yet, but she's been in the mix many times. So 9-1 on the board. I thought she'd be more like 6-1. 9-1's even better. And I don't mind taking one that's been, racing in tougher classes in her most recent efforts.
And made up 19 lengths from the quarter pole to the finish last time out. Love that. 9-1. For Curious Bubbles, this is one that you had to assume was going to get a lot of love, coming in with a win in just 2 starts.
I thought she would take support. I didn't know if it would be to the tune of 4-5. I mean, one thing to consider is in her first 2 starts, she's had Bob McClure aboard both of them. Now, she gets Mark Etzel in the bike. He trains her as well, and certainly someone who can certainly get around in the race bike. There's no question about that, but doesn't drive as much as she used to. And I think that she's a horse that does have, early speed. She showed that last time, but that was from post 2. She starts from post 4 tonight. And I just think that 4-5 might be a bit of an overbet. I think, pound for pound, maybe over time, she's probably the best horse in the race, but she's got to be the best horse tonight. And 4-5 for me is just a little too short. I was going too deep in my pick 5 here. I went one more deep in my pick 4. They're both dead, but in any event, I just think Curious Bubbles, big time contender. Just don't like the price right now.
Number 5, Stonebridge Theme, was second to Curious Bubbles last time out, and at least also has a start here, and now only finished 5th in that one, but still 59 and 3 mile.
Yeah, and she was, last time at Hanover, she was, almost 4 lengths in arrears to Curious Bubbles, right? So it's hard to kind of put her in the category of that one. The one thing to, I guess, consider for that effort was she was overland for quite a bit of it, and I thought it was kind of gutsy for her to still finish in the second spot. Kind of, there was some other horses that were coming on in the late stages there, and I thought it was a decent effort to still, land in the place spot. Before that, finished 5th here, 89-1, and that was at this level. And I think that she has every right to maybe continue to kind of step forward. I would, for me, put the 2 and 4 kind of ahead of her by a significant margin, but she is a horse I think has a good chance at the ticket.
And then number 6, Flamin' Terror, was 30-1 last time out. Now is 3-1.
And she gets the outermost post, right? I know it's only the 6th hole, but it's still the outermost post in the contest. She's a 2-year-old and against older horses. I do think that she's shown enough that she should be competitive against this group. She's picked up a share in all 3 of her lifetime tries so far. She's been double digits in each of those efforts. Now all of a sudden tonight she's 5-2. My issue is against older rivals. The post is not going to do her any favors, and the price is just too short at this point for me. So I do think she's going to be in the mix to get a piece of it, but I couldn't get there at that price. Now 9-5. I mean, she's getting bet off the board right now, Gary.
Well, your number 2, Duchess of Brand, is not getting bet off the board. Is 7-1, and I went with 4, Curious Bubbles, and I don't like even money, but I thought she'd be favored. I thought maybe more like 2-1 though. But it is a field of 6, race number 4, fillies, mares, non-winners at 5,000, and they are moving in, taking up their positions, and it'll be Sista, Duchess of Brant on the inside. In the center, Get Back Stare and Curious Bubbles. And then to the outside, Stonebridge Theme and Flamin' Terror. And right now, Curious Bubbles with a break. Now quickly recovers. Field of 6 at the start. Curious Bubbles spots the field about 4 or 5 lengths. And Flamin' Terror from the outside. Sista, then Duchess of Brand as they work their way on around the turn. Then Stonebridge Theme and Get Back Stare along to the inside. And then Curious Bubbles after that early bobble is back trailing the field. Flamin' Terror 3-1 from an outside post has come on to make the lead. Sista is racing second and is about 2 1/4 from the front. Then a gap of 3, Duchess of Brant and Stonebridge Theme, Get Back Stare, and then Curious Bubbles. They work their way on around the turn, and right now it is Flamin' Terror with a lead of about 4 lengths off a 28-1 opening quarter, and Sista second, Duchess of Brant is third, and then racing fourth, Stonebridge Theme as they work on towards us. Then it is back to Get Back Stare, and Curious Bubbles is still trailing the field. Flamin' Terror as they work their way on past the half, 58-2, a 30-1 second panel breather. And Flamin' Terror into the backstretch. Sista second. Stonebridge Theme is third. And Duchess of Brant on the inside is racing fourth. And as they race the backstretch right now is about 6 off lead. Now Curious Bubbles is starting to bubble up and is moving to the outside as they race the way on toward 3/4. And it is Flamin' Terror. Flamin' Terror as they race on toward 3/4. And on the outside, here comes Curious Bubbles now. Stonebridge Theme, and on the inside, it is Sista, and then Duchess of Brant, and now Flamin' Terror. Curious Bubbles on the outside in the center, Stonebridge Theme. Sista on the inside, they turn for home. Flamin' Terror. Curious Bubbles still digging. Flamin' Terror, Curious Bubbles, and on the center of the track, Stonebridge Theme. Stonebridge Theme wins it. Curious Bubbles was second. Then Duchess of Brant came late to pick up third, and Flamin' Terror, mile of 2 minutes and 1/5. An interesting finish. Stonebridge Theme and Bruce Richardson, and I think that early break was the difference. Curious Bubbles made a break before the start and then had to quickly try to get back to the gate and spotted the field about 4 or 5 lengths and gets beat half a length, Rob.
Yeah, it was all the difference, Gary, because, I mean, you see last time Stonebridge Theme was, off a significant margin of Curious Bubbles, and this time around it might have been the same if not for that early miscue. Not getting beat by too much to Stonebridge Theme tonight. Curious Bubbles did make that early bobble. Cost her the race, but still came back into race very well to be second and only beat by a slim margin on the wire. Stonebridge Theme last time was overland for much of the journey, and this time around, went a pretty good trip to end up, winning the race. But I think that, going forward, we'll remember this is one that got away from Curious Bubbles.
I was kind of surprised that was able to come from last there because just a young one, and I thought that that bobble, the bubbles went down the drain with that bobble, but was able to come on late, and actually I said half a length. It was more of just ahead.
Yeah, it was. It was really shortening up rapidly as they approached the wire, but the margin was big enough that she wasn't able to get there before the finish there. But Flamin' Terror was one that I thought raced pretty well, and I thought might go all the way on the edge. And as soon as she made the lead, I said, okay, this is new, right? I mean, it was an authoritative move from the outside of the gate, 28-1 to the quarter, but obviously, Flamin' Terror started to shorten her stride, big time on the turn for home, and was picked up by that pair and almost by Duchess of Brant, who ended up getting an inside trip and had some pace in the end of it, but certainly didn't race as well as I hoped.
and did drop also down to 5-2. But the fourth race, you said that they're a little closer, and of course that bob will change things. But Stonebridge Feme at 3-1 is going to be the winner. The inquiry sign is up, and Stonebridge Feme coming back in front of a 3-year-old sports writer brown filly owned by J.P. Marshallton, who's also the trainer. The winning drive, and it's the first lifetime for Stonebridge Feme to Bruce Richardson. Note the judges reviewing the start and ruling that all horses received a fair start. The fourth race payouts 5 Stonebridge Feme, $8.90, $4.83, 20, 4 Curious Bubbles, $3.50, $3, and 6 Flamin' Terror pays $3.10, $2 exactor, $37.20, try, $59, $35 super, $95.60. The fourth race, so we're finished from the top. It's a 546213. That's 546213. Field for race 5 on parade 1. He's a handyman, Mike Horner for Mark Horner. Number 2, JJ Powerball, Brian Roche, Rachel Andrew. Number 3, DM John Wick, Chatham for Don Lindsay and Andrea Lindsay. And number 4, Dragon Energy, Paul Davies for Nicole Davies. 5, Ideal Jet, Nick Boyd for Craig Bars and Nurko Sokolovic. Number 6, Denmark Sister, Tyler for Josh McGibbon and Ralph Spoltor. And number 7, Larjan Lucky, Jason Ryan for Kyle Bossens and Steve Quinn and Glenda Winkleman. Field of 7, race 5, the Queen's Maple Race. Let's get a look at this field, and we'll start with number 3, DM John Wick. And, DM John Wick is 5-1 on the board. And I like this pick because although DM John Wick has only one win on the year, 5 runner-up finishes, brings in some good form, and you're going against the more logical favorite. And DM John Wick has been racing well.
Yeah, I thought he's been racing really well, and I hope the price holds. Because I thought DM John Wick would take, some support anyways, at least a lower price than 5-1. But I'm more than happy with that number right now. Last time I thought raced really well to be second to Let's Get Pickled. Before that was a good third to Night Watchman, and typically he's been racing from off the pace. He said post 5 and 6 in each of his last 4. Now he gets to come in a little bit to post 3. So I'm not sure if we're going to see early foot from him tonight. He's races really well, off the helmet, so that might be the game plan. But I looked at this field and just thought that, again, one of those races where it looks like it's a nicely competitively matched field. And I think the DM John Wick on recent form can get the better of them and maybe notch that second victory in his 19th start of the season. I don't think he's, in a race where he's overmatched against this group. I think he should be more than competitive, and I think with the right trip, he can get to the wire first.
Well, Robin, if I fault you for taking the one that's a bit win shy with 1 win in 18, I went for the one that's over 24 in the win column, and your second choice, Dragon Energy.
Yeah, Dragon Energy, camera shy this season, but we just talked about DM John Wick, right, being 1 for 18, but hitting the board with frequency. Dragon Energy's done the same. He's hit the board 9 of 24, and he's done that sometimes even at Mohawk Park and some pretty decent spots. Now winners of 6,000 last 5, some pop-up events, and so he's raced against some pretty good horses, and now finds himself in a winnable spot. There's no question about it, right, in this upper condition race at Grand River. 3-2 on the board, though, on a horse that's 0 for 24. That's, a tough sell sometimes, right? And I figured he would get bet down to favoritism. At number 1, why will he get bet down to favoritism is people look at times, right? When you look at the times on his card, you see a lot of 51 miles, 52 miles. Those are all at Mohawk Park, though. He has raced well here. There's no question about it. He even finished second in the preferred on August 22nd. I just don't like the price, and I'd rather side with one that's a better number. But I think Dragon Energy's got a big chance. That's why I haven't picked for second.
Number 5, Ideal Jet, I'll confess, is one that you have loved more than I have, but yet you got to love the end result. A lot of backclass.
Tons of backclass. 47-time winner, and a horse that I've always enjoyed watching. Craig Bars have had all kinds of success and a lot of fun with this 11-year-old son of Jeremy's Jet, and he's a rocket ship off the gate. I mean, there's no question the way that he wants to go when he's racing at the top of his game, and even sometimes when he's not, it's to go forward. He comes in 1 spot tonight on the gate at post 6 last time against Softer. He went to the front in that latest effort. He set pretty hot for actions, had a horse that challenged him early on in that mile. He held on by half a length on the end of it. And I think he's got the back class to be more than competitive against this group as well. It's just a little bit tougher. 10-1 on the board, that's a big price in Ideal Jet. And he's a horse that does tend to get confident. He kind of swells up after he gets back to the winner's circle. So if he can build off that latest, he's not impossible in here in double digits. That's a pretty good price on a classy veteran.
And then your next one that was third in the race that Let's Get Pickled won, and DM John Wick was second, Denmark Sealster.
Yeah, and I thought Denmark Sealster raced pretty well in that effort, and kind of better than I thought he would, to be perfectly honest. He got away in the 2-hole to Let's Get Pickled, and didn't really, he wasn't really able to keep a snug pocket behind him, but he only ended up beating to third behind DM John Wick. So I looked at it and said, if I like DM John Wick, I got to like Denmark Sealster a little bit. and I think he can get a smaller piece of this at 4-1. I think that price is probably a little bit short, in my opinion, from out there. But I think still when you want to use them to try and super.
And a quick thought on JJ Powerball. I used this one for second, but has been off a while.
Yeah, first start back was why I hesitated. Was racing against much tougher before that. One that should be more than competitive against this group, but I want to watch him one time.
Well, this time you'll get 9-1. Next time, I'm not sure about that. But right now, for Dragon Energy, 6-5 is the favorite as the field is taking up their position. He's a handyman. JJ Powerball, DM John Wick on the inside of the center. Dragon Energy and Ideal Jet to the outside. Denmark Sealster, Lars Unlucky. Field of 7, race number 5. They're at the start of the rough. Dragon Energy. Ideal Jet getting out well. And DM John Wick on the inside. But Dragon Energy has the lead right now. Ideal Jet continues to march, though. Ideal Jet comes on to assume his normal position. Then Dragon Energy is second. DM John Wick is third. He's a handyman is fourth. And then Denmark Sister Lars Unlucky. And JJ Powerball trails the field. They race on to the opening quarter. Ideal Jet leads it at 6-1. Dragon Energy is second. DM John Wick third. And then racing position fourth. He's a handyman. Then it is back to Denmark Sealster. Lars Unlucky. And trailing the field, JJ Powerball. That opening quarter was recorded in 26-3. Ideal Jet had to work to get the lead and put up a strong opening panel as they worked their way up towards the half. Dragon Energy second. DM John Wick third. He's a handyman is fourth. Then Denmark Sealster now is going to pop to the outside. Lars Unlucky, then JJ Powerball, and they head on into the backstretch off a 56-1 halftime. And that lead is still just a length and a half. His Dragon Energy is right there in the pocket, racing third. DM John Wick. Denmark Sealter on the outside now has come on and has taken fourth, and then fifth is He's a Handyman. Then it is Lars Unlucky and JJ Powerball, and they roll towards three quarters, and now DM John Wick's getting a little closer. Ideal Jet has the lead. DM John Wick is racing second, and on the inside, Dragon Energy's been getting the trip. Denmark Sealter is racing for the turn for home, and Ideal Jet still has the lead, but might have to deal with Dragon Energy, and DM John Wick is still taking down this stretch. Rob, they come. Dragon Energy up the inside, explodes up the inside to win it. Then Ideal Jet, DM John Wick, and Denmark Sealster. Dragon Energy 153-3 scores up the passing lane in race number 5.
Yeah, up the passing lane. Absolute perfect trip. I mean, it's a great spot to be, isn't it? You get behind Ideal Jet. You know that one is going to carry you to the stretch drive. There's no question about that. And Ideal Jet was sharp tonight. He just, ran into a horse that got the better trip behind him, and one that might just be a little bit better than him at this point in his career. Dragon Energy, perfect trip worked out by Paul Davies. And as you said, explodes up the passing lane late to get the job done in 53-3.
Well, and we were looking at horses that were win shy before the start of this race. Well, one of them, Dragon Energy, was 0 for 24, but not 0 for anymore.
No, he's not. He notches that elusive victory this season in the 25th start. And the wild thing is, is he sits the 2-hole behind a 47-time winner and then gets past that one, before the wire. Ideal Jet raced really well to finish second. I said, he's a horse that gets very confident, can swell up off victories. Well, that's what he did tonight. I mean, you can't take anything away from Ideal Jet. He went legit for actions again on the front end, and he just got beat by a relatively slim margin on the wire, and he held off DM John Wick. I actually thought that, DM John Wick was in the garden spot, because if Ideal Jet gets soft late, being first over to him is not that big of a deal, especially late in the mile. You don't want to be first over to him early in the mile. Late in the mile is okay. He just couldn't get past that one and ended up finishing third at 3-1.
Well, you did talk about the right four, but the order was different. But nonetheless, we did have the right idea. In the end, it was Dragon Energy who had an idea to pop up the passing lane and score for Paul Davies and get off the schneid for a first win. Coming back in front of us is number 4, Dragon Energy. A 4-year-old custard, the Dragon Brown Gelding, owned by Paul Davies. Paul Davies is the trainer and the winning driver. First win on the year, 9th lifetime, Dragon Energy, 153-3. And out trackside, the Queen's Maple Group enjoying their night at the races. The fifth race payouts. Number 4, Dragon Energy, 564.10, 240. 5, Ideal Jet, 680, 450, and 3, DM John Wick, 280, $2 exactor, $34.50 try, 36.70. The Dollar Super, 120.85, and the pick 5 will be a carryover, 3,023.86. The pick 5 carryover into Wednesday evening. The fifth race order finish from the top is a 673. 1245. That's 673 1245.
Time for that swing race tonight, folks. Race number 6. It is the final leg of the early pick 4. Payouts are just fantastic for that one. Of course, the start of the late pick 4, as well as our super high 5 wager, and also got a carryover in that pick 5. Moving on to Wednesday night, so you're going to want to take a close look at that program and sharpen your pencils. We've got a carryover over $3,000 going to Wednesday night's pick 5, getting started on race number 1 on that evening. But right here in this sequence, well, I love a horse in race number 7. We're going to start off with 2 in the opening leg, and that is the favorite right now, 6-5 favorite, the 1J120. I think that one is the clear one to beat. No question about it. Paying $137 in that 20-cent pick 4. The other one we're using, moving forward in the opening leg of this sequence, is the 7 Sweetest Hustle, paying almost $3,500 in that early pick 4 wager. So 2 deep to start off here. Race 7, we're going to single first glance. Love that one tonight. Don't think we're going to get anything near that 6-1 morning line. Thought he raced really well. First over to Ideal Jet. Last time, look how that one came back to race tonight. So first glance, big circle around that one for me tonight. Race number 8, 3 deep with the 1 JMR Sporty Mel, the 3 Ace 44 Money, and the 5 Streaky Coco. And then in the finale, this is a great looking preferred trot. Always made more difficult with the better horses being handed those outside posts. We're going to use the 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to use those 2 that got handicapped with outside starting spots, Cena Magician and Charmo Prince. I like Power and Grace. Power and Grace from the second tier. Classy trotting mare. Love it when she races on a regular rotation. If she gets away well from post 9, I think she'll be tough to beat in there. We're going to also use the 1 Willie Arwoni and the 2 Esquire. So just $6 for a 20-cent wager. And this is the sequence I like the most throughout the night because I absolutely love the 5 first glance in race number 7. So feel free to add or subtract to that ticket as you see fit. But that one is the one that I'm zeroing in on as my single in this sequence. Just a minute away. So we'll be coming out onto the track for race number 6. Start mapping out your winning wagers for this late pick 4 sequence. We'll come back in just a moment or two to take a closer look at this upcoming dash.
Field for the 6th on parade. 1J120, down the board for Jerry Sims. Number 2 is Shadow and Red's Honey, chase and ride for Shane Barrington and Max Stable. And number 3, Lola's Sunshine, Lauren House for Scott McNiven and Tom Broadhurst and Donald Douglas and Bradley McNiven. Number 4 is Sexy Playmate Cullen, Caliber Kyle Bossons. And 5, Watch Your Fly, Nick Boyd for Craig Bars and Nurko Sokolovic. Number 6, Big Lady J, Travis Sandberg, Cassidy Schneider, and Robert Chappell. 7, Sweetest Hustle, Scott Culliver, Jason Libby, and Lori Keeling. 8 is Wasaga, Paul McKenzie for Les Posen. And 9 is Sailor's Delight, brought down for Ruth Moore and James Hastyfield. 9, race number 6. And it features the Super High 5 and is the start of the late win for. So let's get right to it and take a look at 5 and start with 1 J120. Why not from the inside?
Yeah, and also a filly that was on quite a roll prior to her latest. I mean, she went to Mohawk Park to compete in the OSS Grassroots. It took support to 11-1 in that one and ended up fading back to 7th. But before that, had won 3 in a row here, including 2 in this class, and had done so in a dominant fashion. She had Tyler Borth aboard in both of her last 2 victories over this oval. And I think she's clearly the one to beat. She gets to work from the pole position, and I think that you've got to respect her in here. That's why she's 3-5 on the board. I didn't single her in the late pick 4. I added another one in there, but I do think she is clearly the one to beat.
And you were willing to go towards an outside post for the one for the exactor ticket next. 7, Sweetest Hustle.
Yeah, Sweetest Hustle was one that made the watch list on September the 12th because she had an absolute ton of pace coming to that wire. She got locked in. She got away third, stayed on the inside. We know the 3-hole can sometimes be a tricky spot to get away. She elected to stay on the pylons, and she ended up getting shuffled back a bit before finding room in the stretch and blasting home in 28-1. And Better Kiss the Men was the winner, but this one would have got there if she had got room sooner. And she was also at a pace disadvantage in that race. So the problem tonight is she now is at a post disadvantage, especially considering the heavy favorite gets to work from that pole position. But I thought she raced so good last time, and I think that she should be really brave coming into this. If the favorite makes a misstep or isn't at her best tonight, I think Sweetest Hustle is the place you want to land. 8-1. I'm okay with that price.
Number 2, Shadow and Red's Honey is one that I could see getting a trip here and sent out by Shane Barrington. The record this year is light, but did score a win here below this class, just 2 back.
Yeah, she did race really well 2 back. That was in a softer spot, though. Right now, when there's a 15,000 life, this is a significantly tougher spot. But she took support to 3-1 last time at this level. She was first over a long way before finishing 4th. It wasn't too far off. Sweetest Hustle and Better Kiss the Men. The degree of difficulty goes up tonight with J120 in the race. There's no question about that. She's significantly tougher than many that she faced last time in this field. And I think that she's one that can hit the ticket, but I think that's likely her ceiling. For me, it's those 2, J120 and Sweetest Hustle, and then the rest of the field. But I do have her slot in the 3rd spot.
And then Big Lady J was 3rd to J120 just 2 races ago, but I left this one off because of I punished her for that break last time out.
Yeah, break last time obviously cost her. Remember, she was trying to leave, though, right from post 7. She was blasting out of there. So, sometimes a program can be a little bit, tough to decipher that because, yeah, by the quarter pole, she was 7th in a long way back. But I thought Big Lady J is one here where if she minds her manners tonight, even from post 6, she can get a piece of it. And now I think everyone's kind of penalizing her because she's going off at 19-1 against a group that I think she should be competitive with. If she had an inside draw, she'd be probably even further up in my rankings. But for tonight, I'll put her in the bottom end of the try and the super high 5.
And then your 5th one is 4, Sexy Playmate, but I want to get you to touch on 9, A Sailor's Delight, 23-1. Because look I pay attention. You taught me if you like the 1, you got to like the 9. And the 9 won last time out, so 23-1. Why am I wrong? I used this one for 2nd.
You're not wrong. I'm not going to tell you're wrong because the logic of if you like the 1, you got to like the 9 is certainly correct. And this one does have some early foot. So if she can stay tight to that one's helmet, maybe she follows her right off the gate, gets into a sweet spot, and can land somewhere on the ticket. My problem with her was she's taking a significant step up in class, and 2 back she was racing at a 15,000 condition claimer. So the win last time was a good one. It was from the pole position. Price is right tonight, 30-1. I'd throw her in the super high 5, but that's about the high as I can get.
I think when you didn't use this one on your top 5, you were actually telling me I'm wrong, and the fans are telling me also. So maybe I should be paying attention, but I've never been accused of paying attention in the past, so we're not going to start now. But I did pay attention to one J120, as did you. 2-5, the favorite. And taking up their positions, J120, Shadow and Red Sunny, and Lola's Sunshine. In the center, Sexy Playmate and Watcher Fly. To the outside, Big Lady J, Sweetest Hustle, and Wasega. The second tier, A Sailor's Delight. It's a field of 9, race number 6. There at the start of the rough. J120 will leave with Big Lady J, Shadow and Red Honey, Sexy Playmate. A Sailor's Delight now is going to press right on through and get on the back of J120. Shadow and Red Honey is third, and Sexy Playmate is racing fourth, and then Big Lady J and Lola's Sunshine and Watcher Fly and Sweetest Hustle. And Wasega's trailing the field. J120, 1-9 on the boards, got the lead. A Sailor's Delight at 50-1s. Sitting second right now. Then Shadow and Red's Honey. Big Lady J is moving on the outside and hasn't seen the inside yet. Then Sexy Playmate and Lola's Sunshine. Watcher Fly. Sweetest Hustle and Wasega. And 27-4 the opening quarter. J120 leads the field as they come on towards us. A Sailor's Delight is right there, delighting in the pocket. Big Lady J is on the outside, first up third. Shadow and Red's Honey is fourth, and racing fifth is Sexy Playmate. Then Watcher Fly, Lola's Sunshine, and Sweetest Hustle, and Wasega. 57-1 halftime, 29-2 second panel. J120, A Sailor's Delight. Big Lady J is going to have to go a big trip and is so far, and is on the outside third. Shadow and Red's Honey is racing fourth, and Sweetest Hustle is beginning to hustle now and is up the fifth, and then Watcher Fly back to Wasega. Lola's Sunshine and Sexy Playmate. J120 leads. It's still A Sailor's Delight, hasn't gone away. A Sailor's Delight is still sailing, and then Sweetest Hustle is kicking in, and then Big Lady J as they're about to turn for home. Up 3/4, 126. J120, A Sailor's Delight on down the stretch drive they come. J120, A Sailor's Delight. Sweetest Hustle, they come to the finish. J120, A Sailor's Delight was second. Then it was Sweetest Hustle, Watcher Fly, and Shadow and Red's Honey. 155-3. J120 was 1-9, and well, I guess they were right.
Yeah, they were definitely right. J120 deserved the respect in here to go off at 1-9. And Gary, you weren't crazy. See, I told you. A Sailor's Delight, just as you thought, pushed out with that trailing post, got the 2-hole. At 53-1 on the board, ends up finishing second. I thought Sweetest Hustle still raced really well to finish third. I mean, she's at a big pace advantage again tonight, getting away well back from the 7-hole, but ended up finishing third, split by your bombs away. Second place horse there, Gary, A Sailor's Delight.
I should tell you, not just my horse, also Manic Monday's horse. She did have the 9 for second as well. So even though you and the fans went one way, well, Christine and I, a pair of crazies, weren't so crazy this time.
No, not at all. I mean, again, listen, the logic is sound, right? If you've got a horse from the rail that you know is leaving out, not just leaving out, but is 1-9 and going to be going to the lead, there's nothing wrong with a horse that's got speed that's going to be following that one right on their back, right? And you get that 50-1 shot in the second spot. Horse Sweetest Hustle did take some support. It was the second choice in the race, ends up finishing third. Then a couple of decent prices. I think it was Watcher Fly anyways, finishing fourth. So that Sailor's Delight landing second is going to obviously help all the exotics, especially the Super High 5.
Would it be rubbing it in to say that my top 4 were 1-9-7-2? I just didn't have the 5.
So was mine.
Well, it's pretty impressive. You and Christine both, Manic Monday, both ended up with that top 4, and certainly outdid yours truly in this race.
Well, I just wanted you to know that I'm paying attention. I mean, I don't always. I want you to know when I am. Yeah, that doesn't warrant a comment because it doesn't happen that often. Back in front of us, though, is the winner. The one that we should be paying the most attention to is number 1, J120, 3-year-old Arts Speak Bay filly, owned by John O'Brien and Jerry Sims, who's also the trainer. Tyler Borth, the winning driver, 7th win for J120 in 14 starts this year, 7th win lifetime. J120, And out trackside, the "You're never sad when you wear plaid." Well, I do see one plaid shirt. What's with the rest of them? And also the win for Tyler Borth moves to just one back for the driver's title this year. Brett McDonald at 38, and Tyler Borth closes it up at 37 with a week to go. The sixth race payouts. Number 1, J120, 220, 210, 210, 9 is Sailor's Delight, $9.20 and $7. And 7 Sweetest Hustle, $530 high, 5 1,000, 20, 10. $2 exactor, 30, $70 try, 70, 30. Dollar win for 404, 685, 95. The sixth race, order of finish from the top, 156947382. That's 156947382. Field 4, race 7 on Parade 1, Sports Nation. Talbot for Josh McKibben and Ray and Catherine Stewart. And number 2, Major Race, Steve Houdon for Laura Toscani. 3, Strong Enough, Lauren House for Samuel Taylor. 4, St. Lad's Flirt, Chase and Run for Gaston Dumont and Franz Peterson. Number 5 is First Glance, Paul McKenzie for Terry Gallant and Jennifer Doyle and Danny Burt. And number 6, Artistic Pick, Colin Keller for Kyle Bossons. It's a field of 6, race number 7. Let's take a look at this field, and well, the fans have made 3 Strong Enough the betting favorite, but Rob, I thought for certain that you would go with First Glance. I knew I wanted First Glance, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to be with First Glance here. And the price right now is 2-1, and it's been shortening up consistently since the betting opened. The first price was a nice one, but it's 5-2 now. I thought that, he might get overlooked by some. The morning line, of course, is 6-1. And beyond that, too, you look at the last line, you see 31-second final quarter, but he was first up against Ideal Jet and was, a pretty stern challenge to the half before kind of fading back, but still raced pretty well to finish third. It was just under 4 lengths away in the show spot, and I thought raced really well 3 back here at the River as well when he was second to Capitano Italiano. So I think he's the one to beat in here. In fact, I thought he's the clear one to beat in here in my best bet of the night. More than fine with 5-2, hoping it doesn't shorten up too much come post time.
And number 2, Major Race, well, 20-1 last time out, and my long shot play that, beaten half a length to Ideal Jet. Major Race now is one that is going to get a lot more respect off of that mile, 5-1.
Yeah, and he should get more support. I mean, I was really fond of that one last time as a bombs away horse underneath as well. Had the rail to work from, and you kind of knew he'd push out enough to get in the 2-hole behind Ideal Jet. This time around, he does move out 1 spot to the post 2. I think he's still gonna want to leave off the gate and comes right back in the same class after racing against tougher in the effort before that. Actually raced in a race that Don't Poke the Dragon was the winner. We saw that one win nicely tonight. So Major Ace, I think, is a logical one to use underneath tonight, but still kind of not getting that respect on the board. I mean, more respect than last time, but I expect him to be a lower price than 7-2, and that's a fair number on him right now.
Number 1, Sports Nation is interesting because he sometimes pops up with some really fine efforts, but I don't see consistency from him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that, we do see the odd, real nice effort from Sports Nation. He's 1 for 8 on the year. And the reason why, he opened off as a favorite and right now is a lower price than First Glance. Last time, First Glance did all the work first over against Ideal Jet. Sports Nation sat inside, slipped out on his cover on the turn for home. Some might say, well, he was kind of getting backed into by First Glance, but he never got past First Glance. In fact, didn't even get close to him. So I can't put Sports Nation ahead of First Glance. I think that the way they raced last time, there's no question who the better horse was. It was First Glance. So 2-1 on that one now. The price is coming down as I thought it would, but I'm hoping he's a bigger number in the pick fours. And to me, Sports Nation is just a player somewhere underneath.
And then Strong Enough is one that you didn't think was strong enough to use in your top 3. And yet the fans are disagreeing, 3-2 on the board, but also made a break last time out. You got to factor that in.
Yeah, it did make a break from the pole position and still ended up making some decent moves to get into the race before fading back to 7th. I guess, for me, I look back 2 back, non-winners of 1,500 last 3, and I say, okay, well, that race there to me is not as strong as some of the horses in this race. And Strong Enough, 1 for 16 on the season. We know he's been kind of camera shy. He got to the winner's circle in against, theoretically, I guess you'd say a group that would be on par with this one, maybe slightly easier on June 17th. I just can't get there at 8-5. I mean, I thought that he'd be more like 3 or 4-1 in here, and he'd be a use underneath. I didn't think he'd be the favorite. I think First Glance deserves that designation. We might see it at post time, but 5-2 right now. Hey, listen, I'm more than fine with that. Sign me up with First Glance.
I could actually take a flyer on Artistic Pick towards the bottom just because post 8 last time out, and Artistic Pick's really been liked this year, but he's looked really good at other times, and at that price, I could maybe throw him in on the bottom.
Yeah, fourth start back off a layoff too, and he is at the outermost post in the contest, but he does come in a little bit. I think he's an overlay at 16-1. I think it's because there's some horses in the race that are taking more support than they should.
Well, one of those is number 3, Strong Enough at 2-1, and now Sports Nation went down to 2-1. So we love First Glance at 5-2. It's Sports Nation, Major Race on the inside, Strong Enough, and St. Lad's Flirt in the center. First Glance, Artistic Pick, field of 6, race number 7. They've reached the top of the stretch, and here they come. And the field for the 7th race. Gathering speed approaching the start. And the rough. And First Glance will leave with Major Race. Sports Nation on the inside. And First Glance wants to bolt right out and grab control of this one. And has done so. Sports Nation second. Major Race is third. Then it is Strong Enough in St. Lad's Flirt. And Artistic Pick. But First Glance is bold in the early action and leads it by 4. Sports Nation second. Major Race is racing third. Then it is Strong Enough in St. Lad's Flirt, and Artistic Pick trails the field. The opening quarter a sharp 27 seconds. First Glance is first right now and leads by about 3.5 lengths. Sports Nation is second. Major Race is third. Strong Enough is fourth, and then St. Lad's Flirt and Artistic Pick. First Glance as the field races their way off the turn and comes on towards Sports Nation is racing second. Then a gap of 4. Major Race is third. Strong Enough is racing fourth. And then it is St. Lad's Flirt and Artistic Pick. And the halftime was 55-3, a 28-3 second panel. And First Glance is on fire and leads by 5 or 6 lengths right now. On down the backstretch to go. Sports Nation, Major Race, and then Strong Enough is racing fourth. And then it is back to St. Lad's Flirt and Artistic Pick. It is First Glance continues to drive on the lead. First Glance in front by about 9 right now. Sports Nation second. Major Race third. Strong Enough. And then St. Lad's Flirt and Artistic Pick. First Glance as the field is about to turn from, getting a little urging now, but off of 3/4 of 123-2, and they turn on down the lane. Sports Nation is second. If this was a boxing match, the referee would step into the ring. First Glance has got this one, and then it is Major Ace and Sports Nation, and then we had Strong Enough, but First Glance in 154, kind of walking home, but didn't need to do any more than walk home after that big performance up to that point, Rob.
No, he didn't have to, Gary. Listen, you know what? My best bet of the night, single of the multi-legs, and I thought that he was alone in here. I really did, because when you look at that latest effort, it was kind of similar tonight in the sense that, he was motoring early in the mile, except he ran into a brick wall with Ideal Jet last time. He got away third, tried a first over move against Ideal Jet, which is not a winning strategy, and ended up fading back to third, but raced well to be third. Comes out tonight with no one resembling Ideal Jet in this race, and absolutely blows me away on the front end. Kind of what I expected he would do, just not by that big of a margin in the early going. But in any event, 6-5 on the board. The late money came for him. I would highly doubt he's that big of a favorite in the pick 4 wager. At least that's what I'm banking on.
And also just watching this one last year is still stuck in my mind because he was so good last year. This year's been light, but we do know that it's there because we saw some really tough performances from him here last year.
Yeah, we certainly did. And last season, he went 6 for 18, 13 of those he hit the board. And we saw an inkling of this on August 29th. He raced really well to be second to Capitano Italiano, and then, of course, went to Mohawk Park in a tough spot, was overland before finishing 8th, and then came right back and raced well here. He loves it here at the River, and tonight was a really nice spot for him to go out there and get his confidence back, go get a nice victory, and do so by as much as he please. So, like I said, 6-5, but we'll take it.
We often talk about the other horses in the race, but were there other horses in the race?
Well, there were. That we kind of were right about the ones underneath, too, not that they were anywhere close to First Glance.
Back in front of us, First Glance, a 4-year-old roan thinking out loud gelding, owned by Jennifer Doyle and Danny Burt. Terry Gallant, the trainer. Paul Mackenzie, the winning drive. It's the second win this year, 10th lifetime. First glance, 154 flat. Seventh race payouts, 5 first glance for 73.20, 230. 2 major race, 390, 220. 1 Sports Nation, 230. $2 exactor. Well, first of all, the dollar pick 3. 3 of 3, $12.30. $2 exactor, $13.30. Dollar try, $14.85. Dollar super, $33.85. Seventh race order of finish from the top, 324-516. That's 324-516.
Winback Farm was the #1 breeder in Delaware, New York, and Ontario for 2021 sire stakes. Highlighting Winback Farm's 2022 lineup are first crop yearlings from Courtly Choice, Jimmy Freight, McWicked, and Stag Party. Introducing the first North American yearlings from The Bank. Visit www.winbackfarm.com for sale lineups. Again, for more information, that's winbackfarm.com.
Field 4, race number 8 on Parade 1 is JMR Sporty Mel, Southport for Harold Wilson and JMR Racing. And number 2, Penny's Noir, Travis Henry for Greg Graham and William Beecham. 3 is Ace 44 Money, Scott Coulter for Steve Coulter and Colin Gensley Burrows. And number 4, Tiara Dancer, Paul McKenzie for Les Posen. 5 is Shrika Yokoko, Midge Brapidana for Danny Fontana, Mark Sear. 6 has been stripped from the 8th race. Clothes optional scratched. Let's get a look at this field for race number 8. And we'll start with number 5, Streak Yukoko. Well, Rob, we were both enamored with the 5 in the last race and felt pretty strongly about that one. This is one that we both use on top, but I couldn't imagine that I feel anywhere near as strong about Streaky Yokoko. No slight to Streaky Yokoko, but not first glance.
No, we're not. I'm not even close to as confident. One was my best bet of the night, and the other is one that I'm going to come back to. But I guess you could look at a similar principle right behind it, because you've got Streaky Yokoko, who I thought has kind of gets overlooked on a weekly basis. You're on the odds board, anyways. Has won 4 of 13, and last time was the runner-up to a Sailor's Delight. Well, we know what that one did tonight. Stepped up in class and raced pretty well to be second to a very well-meant winner in J120. So you can look at it from that angle. That was one of the reasons why I liked First Glance, was coming out of a race where I thought he raced really well against a tough opponent. And Streaky Yokoko kind of might be in the same boat tonight. So 3-1 on this one. I think that is a bigger price than what she should be offering. There's no question about that. And she's been right there against this group on many occasions.
Number 3, Ace 44 Money, is one that at least closed in to get onto the ticket last race, and it's 5 out of 8 in the top 3 on the year. Win shy, 1 win in 17, but definitely one you could use on the ticket.
I think you can use this one on the ticket, and I think for me was the main danger, in my opinion, to Streaky Yokoko, and was a couple of lengths back of that rival last time, but I thought raced reasonably well to get into the show spot. And before that is a race that I would just forgive her for completely, because she had post 7 and got away 8th off the gate. So Ace 44 Money is one, and post 3 tonight, kind of creeping in closer to the inside of the gate. Post 7 2 back, post 5 last time, and I think should be in the mix throughout. Maybe gets her nose involved right at the wire. 3-1, now 5-2 at a shorter price than Streaky Yokoko. I can't get there, but I do think she's got a big chance.
And then the one that has the most consistent form on the year is JMR Sporty ML, but recently hasn't been quite as good as those numbers you see across the board. 10 out of 13 in the top 3, but the last 3, well, one of them was placed up to 3rd, but still a couple of 6ths in there now.
Yeah, it's for me, JMR Sporty Mel, I think, is the one that you look at. You look at the form further back and say, well, she should beat this group handily, and that's probably why she's 4-5 right now. Last time, no chance. Post 7 at Hanover, right? Got away 6th and made up significant ground throughout the mile. But was coming off a vet scratch, sick in that one. Now gets back in on an almost regular rotation and probably should be pretty good against this group from the rail. But that recent form even before that, I thought was kind of tailing off a bit. So I didn't really want to get involved at a short price that she's going off at right now. However, I think, the morning line sometimes will shift people in the multi-leg wagers. So I don't think she's 4-5 in the pick 4 anyways. But does she have a chance? Of course she does. But I do think the Streaky Yokoko offers more value at 3-1.
I didn't know what to do with Tierra Dancer, because Tierra Dancer is one that, the record's like this year, but that win was only 3 back, and last race was good for a good piece of the mile, but did tail off a little bit.
And the thing that I like about Tierra Dancer is that she has tactical speed when she gets asked to use it, right? You can see that throughout her past performances. She gets away 2nd and 3rd off the gate with frequency. And I'm not sure if that's going to be the game plan tonight, but it's obviously her best path to glory. She's 19-1 on the board. And I mean, I think that the 3 that we've talked about previously are the ones that make the most sense in here. I think she's one that might be able to just, get maybe the bottom end of the try or the super in a 5-horse field, though, right? So she's 20-1 on the board, longest shot. I mean, that might be your only chance to add some value to the ticket.
And, Penny's Demois is one that I wound up as my top choice in the last start, but with scratches of 5 and 6, finished 4th in a 4-horse field.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a tougher group, too, in my opinion, right? I mean, so now she gets a 5-horse field. She's guaranteed a check. She's got post 2. Her plan's got to be just to get to the pylons and try to sit a favorable journey and then try to get what she can get. She's 1 for 19 on the season, hit the board in 6 of those. I think that's probably her ceiling tonight, somewhere on the bottom end of the ticket.
Well, one thing an owner's got to love racing in a 4- and 5-horse field in back-to-back weeks, because you don't have to do a lot to make any money. In fact, you got to show up on the gate, and that's what they've done right now. Field of 6 have shown up in behind the gate. GRR Sporty Mel, Penny's Demois on the inside. Correction, a field of 5. Trouble counting. I forgot to strip the 6 from the page. JMR Sporty Mount Pennies and Moi on the inside. Ace 44 money in the center. Tierra Dance and Streaky Yokoko on the outside. Thank God for Christine to keep me on the straight and narrow. As the field comes towards the start. And they're off, and Tierra Dancer pennies to watch. MR Sporty Mel. Streaky Yokoko is 4 wide into the turn, and then Ace 44 money, and the field races their way on into the backstretch. JMR Sporty Mel looks sporty early. Pennies to why? So, well, racing the pocket. Ace 44 money, Tierra Dancer, and Streaky Yokoko is back trailing the field. They race on to the opening quarter. JMR Sporty Mel is on top with pennies to right there in a good spot in the pocket at 9-1. A's 44 money is third, and then Tierra Dancer, Streaky Yokoko is going to have to pass 4 to win as they work on around the turn. JMR Sporty Mel leads as they race off the turn, coming on towards us off at 28-2 opening quarter, and rolling second still is Pennies Noir. A's 44 money, Tierra Dancer, and then it is back to Streaky Yokoko, who has yet to streak, is trailing, and they race their way on past the half 59 at 30-3 second panel. JMR Sporty Mel 4-5 on the board, has the front. Pennies to Wise second. Ace 44 money now to the outside. Streaky Yokoko, and is going to get the cover of Ace 44 money. Ace 44 money is moving quickly now, has come on to take over second, bearing down on JMR Sporty Mel. Pennies to Wise third, and now Streaky Yokoko is up into the action, and then Tierra Dancer, JMR Sporty Mel, A's 44 money, Pennies Dubois third. Streaky Yokoko is racing second over fourth and getting some urging, but is still gapped a bit in the cover as they turn for home. JMR Sporty Mel, A's 44 money, Pennies Dubois, as the field turns for home. On down the stretch drive they come. JMR Sporty Mel is going to take this one. Ace 44 money is second. Then the Streaky Yokoko and Pennies Dubois 158 flat. JMR Sporty Mel. Rob, we didn't respect JMR Sporty Mel, but at least if one's going to get away on us, let it be a 4-5 horse.
Yeah, probably, you should have respected her a little bit more, obviously getting from post 7 down to the rail spot. But, I mean, she kind of started getting asked a little earlier than I expected, and I was hoping maybe Ace 44 money might be able to give her more of a challenge. But I think just kind of her class coming through, like I said, if you go further down her paper, she should be, the boss in here, and then she's kind of coming back to that now, right? That scratch sick before her latest. Obviously, she's feeling much better now and produced a nice effort tonight to get the job done. Ace 44 money, nice, solid effort first over to be second. And Streaky Yokoko, one that tried to leave off the gate, then ended up getting away last, finished third. And she's kind of becoming that horse that, just gets a piece of it very frequently, right? Another on the board finish, but never really in contention tonight.
Well, and of course, the biggest question handicapping is, do you decide to go with what the horses are overall, or what they are just off of their last race or two? And if you go off the last race or two, you don't land on JMR Sporty Mel. But if you go with what the horse is overall, then you wind up with the one.
Yep, no, of course, and that's really, like you said, it's part of the handicapping process, and who knows, right? And the pick 4 wager, she might not be 4-5 because the 4-1 morning line might put people in a different direction, but at the same time, it ends up finishing pretty logically, right? There was 3 horses that we thought were the main contenders. They finished 1, 2, 3. Pennies Noir got away well off the gate tonight, and then ended up finishing 4th. And again, like you mentioned, it's nice to own a horse when you get to go postward in the 4-horse field, and the next week the 5-horse field.
And also, now that driver's race has been brought to an even, a tie at 38 as Tyler Borth closed the gap, was 2 back, then 1 back, and now even. It's JMR Sporty Mel, a 3-year-old sports rider, brown filly, owned by JMR Racing, trained by Harold Wilson. Tyler Borth, the winning driver. It's the 4th win this year, 5th lifetime. JMR Sporty Mel, 158 flat. Eighth race payouts: 1 GMR Sporty Mel, 390, 230, 210. 3 Ace 44 Money, 270, 260. 5 Streaky Yokoko, 220. $2 exactor, 9. $60 try, 770. Dollar super, 13.50. Eighth race, order I finished in the top, 14253 scratch. That's 14253 scratch. Field for the ninth on Parade 1. Willie or won't he? Colin Kelly for Kyle Boston, Phil McGuire. Number 2, Esquire, Tyler Borth for Mark Goddard and Brendan GRR. And number 3, Sheena Soldier, Bruce Richardson for Tim Cherwaco and Gary Green. 4 is Arrakis, Jason Ryan for Francis Guillemette. And number 5, Bastiano, Scott Culliver, Don Lindsay, and Bernie Barr. Number 6, Seacan, Scott Young for Mark Etzel and Terry DeVos and Peter Porter. And number 7, Cena Magician, Garrett Rooney for Jennifer Pinkerton. 8 is Chambro Prince, Paul McKenzie for John Ryer and Randy Ryer. And 9, Power and Grace, Brian McDonough for Ron McDonald and Hartel Maintenance and Lorimer McClure. Field of 9, race 9, a really good betting race in a full field. And let's get a look at this. And well, the tote board tells the story when you have co-favorites at 4-1. It's kind of a balanced bunch. Power and Grace, your top one, Rob.
Yeah, Power and Grace is one that I really like in here. It's just a question of what will a triple be, because the thing is last time she was racing, off over a month's time, and that typically is something that does not, a spot that will bring out her best effort. Now she comes back on a regular rotation. She does have to work from that second tier. Now she follows out speed on the inside with Willie or Woney directly in front of her. Esquire right beside that one. They both have lots of early foot. And I think that might just get her away well enough off the gate where she can make a move midway through the mile, maybe in the late stages. But 4-1, I think she's she's a decent price now, 9-2, in a race where I think it's very difficult. You've got a lot of good horses drawing towards the outside, or at least being handed post to the outside by the race office, and some interesting ones towards the inside of the gate. These preferred trotting events, Gary, are always very well-balanced races and usually bring out some pretty nice payouts.
I think one of those interesting ones on the inside is my top pick, number 2, Esquire, and Tyler Borth, who's rolling right now.
Yeah, and Esquire is one you've got to respect in here. And like you said, you've got a hot hand with Tyler Borth aboard. And the thing about Esquire is early speed off the switch, no question about it, and has been racing against some pretty good horses. White Tiger last time, well, he's already come back to be a winner at Mohawk Park earlier tonight. And before that was a winner in non-winners of 3,700 last 5 at Mohawk Park. So should like getting back to Grand River here this evening. Last time he was in this same race, he had post 8 to work from, got away in the 3-hole. Will not have to work as hard tonight to get away well off the switch from post 2, 9-2 on the board. It's a nice win price on Esquire right now.
Your next one Willie or Won't He. I didn't use this one, and Willie or Won't He is certainly a good one, but of late, and especially that last race, I didn't like it.
Yeah, he was used pretty hard, though. Might not show it. Makeup of the race, he was still used very hard. Really going of it. So
We lost them.
Well, we had some technical difficulties, and we seem to have lost Rob with his thoughts on Willie or Won't He. And Willie or Won't He is one with the inside speed, 16-1. Might be worth taking a flyer at that price. Number 7, Seeing a Magician, is one that comes in off of 3 consecutive runner-up finishes. Second beat in the nose to Chambro Prince last race, and absolutely was sharp. And also, look at 75,000 in 25 starts this year. So Seeing a Magician, 8-1 from post 7. Tough post assignment, but, well, last race from off the pace almost got the job done. And there's number 8, Chambro Prince. Well, that's the one that beat Seeing a Magician, saddled with the outside, but is one that raced well from off the pace and has 3 wins in the past 4 starts. So Chambro Prince and Paul McKenzie, 5-1 on the board. The 9th race, a super high 5, going to post in less than a minute. Gate is rolling for the ninth. Willie Wody Esquire. Sheena Soldier on the inside. In the center, Arrakis and Bastiano to the outside. She can see the Magician, Chambro Prince. And the second tier, Power and Grace. And it's a field of 9, race number 9, gathering speed. They're at the start of the rough. Willie Wody, Esquire, Arrakis, and then Power and Grace from the second tier is going to get out well and racing fourth right now. Then Sheena Soldier and Can. Then it is Bastiano, Cena Magician, Charbro Prince is back trailing the field, and they roll on to the opening quarter. Willie Wody at 6-1 now has a lead of about 4 lengths. Esquire second, Arrakis third. Then it is Power and Grace and Sheena Soldier and Can. Then it is back to Bastiano, Cena Magician, and Charbro Prince. And they work their way on around the turn and fronting the field. Willie Wody with a lead of a couple of lengths. Esquire second. Arrakis racing third. Power and Grace and Sheena Soldier and Can as the field comes off the turn, heading up towards the half. Off a lively 27-4 opening quarter put up by Willie Wody. And Esquire's in the pocket. Arrakis is going to come to the outside, and Esquire popped out of the pocket right now. Wants to come around Willie Wody as they work their way on into the backstretch and then scooting through to the inside. Power and Grace is racing third, and Arrakis is positioned fourth. Then Sheena Soldier, Can's getting closer now rapidly, and then Bastiano, Cena Magician, and Charbro Prince. Willie Wody. Esquire to the outside trying to wear down Willie Wody, and it is Esquire who's surging up now trying to clear Willie Wody. Then Arrakis on the outside, and Power and Grace is racing fourth, and Esquire trying to put away Willie Wody, leads at a length and a quarter, and it is Esquire who's now got the lead, advantage a length and 3/4, but flying late. Can with Arrakis as they come on down the stretch line. Esquire, Can on the outside is closing hard. Center of the track is Arrakis, and on the inside, Esquire. It's Arrakis to get the better of Esquire. Then Can and Cena Magician, 156-3. And that was a very interesting finish, Robert. And we wind up with Arrakis at 9-2, and the inquiry sign is up in this one.
Yeah, Arrakis getting up the late stages there, and it was a interesting race, right? Willie Wody went out to the lead as I expected he would, but you were right, Gary. He's not himself right now. He got soft later on in the mile, and Esquire had to pull the pocket early, kind of got past that rival, and then of course in the late stages here, Arrakis gets up for the victory, and a horse that took a lot of support in the pick four, $14 for a 20-cent wager, and 9-2 on the board. Nice drive by Jason Ryan to get there.
Just got there in the final strides, and I'll tell you, Can around that final turn, I thought it might have been Can that was going to come on and win.
I was impressed by Can, a horse I kind of dismissed easily. I guess I did the same to Arrakis too, but Can was one of the ones handed the outside starting spots. The horse has had a lot of successes of late. OSS Grassroots, and of course in the Dream of Glory, second horse actually to ever win both the Dream of Glory and Balanced Image. I just thought 3-year-old against older horses might be too tough for him, but I thought he raced really well to get into the race late.
And I should mention the inquiry sign is up, and it pertains to number 6 Can. So the inquiry sign is up pertaining to 6 Can, but Arrakis is certainly full marks there, and also Arrakis is one that's got a lot of class. We didn't touch on this one, but more than $500,000 a lifetime. Just made breaks last time out, so kind of steered us off. But Arrakis back in the winner's circle, 10-year-old Federal Flex. Brown gelding on to trained by Francis Guillemette. Jason Ryan, the winning drive, and it's the 8th win this year, 35th lifetime. Arrakis, 156-3. Fans note that number 6 Seacan, who finished third, is going to be placed fourth for failure to continuously lose ground in the stretch, placed back from third to fourth. Once again, fans note that number 6 Seacan, who finished third, will be placed back to fourth for failure to continuously lose ground while off stride. Ninth race payouts for Arrakis. 1110 570 362 Esquire 440 277 Cena Magician 630 Exactor 4430 dollar try 101 80 $2 double 4060 dollar win for 7330 the dollar high five 1600 7580 Ninth race, sort of finish from the top, is a 628 19. 3 place 4, 4 place 3, 7 5 on the bottom. Once again from the top down, after the placing, 628 194375. Well, fans, that does conclude the live harness racing program for this Monday evening. Our next live racing event is Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Buenas noches, amigos. Good night, everybody. Good night, Christine.
Good night, Gary.